Kiva FM network, where we get to talk to some very interesting people. There's Atkan Matkan, which you must have heard on radio, especially Radio One. Haha, shameless plug over. But if you have, then that's probably the first time that you'll see a software firm actually go the creative way. And we thought, why not talk about software getting creative? Because these are people who remain in the background, as the Batman line goes, the hero we need and the hero we deserve. And at Newgen Software, we're talking to the hero we deserve, because these are the people who make sure that a client experience with technology is the smoothest possible one. From critical mission capable technology to everyday technology, it's all there. And I can tell you what I've read, but the man who's actually leading is sitting right next to me. Mr. Virender Jeet, of course, is the CEO of Newgen Software. Sir, this is absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for sparing time.
Thank you, Sarthak, and thank you for having me on your show. And looking forward to speaking to you.
It's not every day that you see a software firm getting out a jingle on radio, and especially a software firm that has firmly decided to remain in the shadows. But now it seems, the light of creativity shining quite bright. So, what was the decision? What was the thought process in the shift?
No, I think, before we go there, I'll just tell you, this is a nice story, and it's typically a not untold story in India. And we have been a great nation of building a great software culture, but through services, fortunately. And I think it has brought a lot of pride to nation in terms of what the software companies have done at a global scale and provided as a backbone for, having that aspirational India. But one thing, we have missed out is, at the end of the day, just to put it mildly, we are working for other people, and the assets are being created and owned by other people. And eventually, as a nation, we'll end up being the consumers of those assets and probably provide 10 times more value back to those companies than we really got in that. But nothing to complain. That was a time. And we started, Mr. Diwakar Nigam, the founder of this company, I think he's the single man behind this whole vision of creating India software products. And the reason was, he was very clear that, he was not interested in, providing his people to anybody. He said that I will create assets and sell them across the world. And we are talking of 30 years back. It's a very different era where money was very tight. There was hardly any investments. You didn't have PE companies coming to India. So it was a very tough struggle, which he and his co-founder, Mr. Bharat, went through first 15 years of establishing. And you need extreme strong conviction in your own abilities, and then believe that an R&D based investments will provide a disproportionate result. Of course, now when we stand, we look back, we are in 70 countries, we have more than 500 customers, we sell to the global, all the global greats in the world. But, at that time, having this belief that you can do it. And like many people ask us, say, how do you fight against the global giants who launch such investments in R&D? I think you have to reverse the question. As a nation, if we don't fight it, when are we going to take up that fight? Are we going to take that fight when you already lost most of the battle and you're going to reinvest? So I think this is a great story. And I think what has happened what we realized, that the time has come for India, the way India is looking at building its next generation, the Viksit Bharat, and there is an aspiration. It is a good time to highlight that the importance of IPR-led software development or industry or digital industry is going to be very, very essential. We are today, if you say, we are digitally dependent, in spite of, what government does an excellent job on the digital stack, the UPI, the payments, they're working on the foundational layers. But the business has to ride on this layer, and they have to start becoming innovators in this country and then have aspiration. Forget selling globally, even selling in India. So, sometimes it pains me to look at, even if I look at the digital landscape of India, we are completely like 99% dependent on something which is coming from either US or Europe in terms of technology. So we started it, and we have been lucky enough to reach to this stage. So coming to our Ratkan Matkan, it's also, I think, as you grow, I think it's time to slightly let loose and make people understand what we do. Anyway, software businesses are very difficult to understand now. कभी-कभी तो हमें ही मुश्किल है समझाना, but I think it's a good fun way to explain the value we deliver to our customers, Most of enterprise in India, banking, insurance are using our systems. This is the benefit through the trying what the customers do get from that solutions which we implement. And if I explain technology, what the content management business process, it becomes difficult.
Yeah.
So it was a nice way and it's come out. It's got, luckily, I think everybody starts liking it.
There's also the fact that you've decided to quite decisively put a face to something that's always been in the shadows, as I said earlier as well, which is also a little bit of a convenient mask to wear, considering the criticality of the work that you do. But to actually put yourself out there and say, yes, we are the ones doing that, is a bit of a double-edged sword, is it not?
Purpose behind it is very clear. See, first of all, we have an aspiration of being a global player for the products and solutions we are saying. India continues to be a significant market for us. But there's also another aim or belief which is typically is the fundamentals of this organization. We would like to also explain to the world that it is possible. Building product-based companies out of India is possible and you can be successful out there. It may be long journeys, so it's not easy, clearly. It's not easy like some of the industries where you can probably expect returns in 2 years or 3 years. It is much more deeper investment. But going out right now and talking about it, it gives us that confidence that we can inspire probably other people to start these journeys. Then also, going and telling what Newgen as a company delivers in the industry through these products. I don't think it's a double-edged sword because anyway, our customers are anyway very, very strong, critical and strong when anything goes wrong. But I think the positive part of it, I think India is a growing market. Even when we reach X number of people, we still miss a lot of people. So I think it's a good initiative and we hope to carry on with it.
And I think, technology, though it has sort of built geotagging, it itself is not geotagged. It is it is built for the global village. And we were speaking to your CMO and she has something quite interesting, born in India, built for global business. But global business is quite a battlefield in more ways than one in today's day and age. Do you think we as a country are equipped enough to deal with that challenge? And Newgen, especially being at the forefront of, of that push, so to speak. What is the global scenario like for someone who's in it and fighting it on a daily basis?
I think, as I said earlier, I think the question is not whether we are equipped. The question is we don't have a choice as a nation. We have to go and fight it out. I said it's a journey. There's nothing going to be easy once. But I think that fundamentally, if you have a belief, you have probably some of the best talent in the world. You don't have issues of investment which were 20 years back. So if you start investing in that, if you start building, what happens as you have aspirations to go and service global clients, you also end up becoming better in what you do. You get exposure, you get experiences, you get face challenges, you overcome that. That's how products really refine. You can't build a product in a silo for a very micro market and then have global aspirations. So we are very clear that when we are building for the globe. And no, that means, okay, I got to fight with large companies in US and larger companies in Europe. But then we love that fight. I think this whole journey has been the fun.
Yeah.
The results could be very different. We could be a $100 million company or a $1 billion company. But the journey of 30 years, nobody can take us away from that. And we are very proud of what we have achieved and we want to.
Your commitment to the and your alignment to the goal of Viksit Bharat is very, very clear and very, very strong. India being a country of glorious uncertainties, and as you said yourself that we have a little bit of a way to go to come up with the advanced markets. What are the technological challenges that you face, considering that you are actually also part of mission critical operations that require that technology and the interfacing with the common citizen?
I don't think there are challenges right now. See, typically today, everything is available. As you said rightly, the digital stacks or digital products are global. So they're available to all nations equally, and I think you can use. What the kind of innovation which is happening on the business side is phenomenal in India, especially after the digital stack came up, both in banking, insurance, So I'm proud to say, I think some of the products of banking and insurance, which we do for Indian customers, are at the leading edge. There is nothing else even globally. I think US banks are slightly behind. I don't want my US banks to see this, but they're slightly behind. In fact, in some areas, substantially behind. So the innovation at the top layer is great in this country, and I don't think nobody can stop it. I think there's a demand, there's a growth in the market. I'm worried about the fundamental layers on which this whole innovation is built and the risk it introduces over a longer period of time. So, all of us today, use so much of technology, whether it's on a phone or on desktops. If you go slightly one stack behind that application, what it is built on, you won't see anything Indian, unfortunately. I think I would say that, and that comes from investment-led businesses, R&D-led businesses. Like we are a company who has been for last 20 years spending more than 10% of our revenue on R&D. And this is all for future. I don't need it for selling next 3 years products. I have those. But after that, now belief of having to invest something for long-term returns is what something this industry has to pick up. I think we have a lot of great industrialists out here and great software companies. They have to start saying, let's start building assets. Start building fundamental layers. And as you're rising, see, technology have one great advantage, like the mobility. Between 4G, 5G, 3G, you didn't have to ever to go to 3G.
Absolutely.
Similarly, when the AI is now there, the next level of next generation of products will be all redesigned and reimagined. So you don't have such a backlog. You can just start today. Yeah. But then don't assume that you will get your money back in next month. You'll have to spend 3-4 years.
And that's the thing. I mean, you make a very important point about the fact that there has to be a foundation for a building to grow strong.
Yeah.
And right now the seduction of speed is so much that we forget that some things necessarily require time to build. Which is the patience that you have displayed, at the risk of being perceived as lagging behind or being slow. Was that a difficult decision to take as well? Developing the infrastructure, as you say?
I think, if you... I think I would give credit to Mr. Diwakar Nigam only for that. I think all of us would have gone to 10 times to him, hey, why don't we start this whole Y2K business? Why don't we do this whole hyperscaler business? And he's saying, he was firm on that. Hey, I need to build software products for this country and for the globe. So it's also about conviction, what you want to believe, what you strongly. So I think we need more people like that in the industry to have those strong convictions. I don't think it is difficult. I think it is at least 100 times easier than what it was in 90s to do software products out there. Also, the availability of talent, availability of technology, investment is there. I think it's just a culture that we have not waited for long-term investments to give results. I think it's the same thing what gets rewarded. Doctorates don't get rewarded too much in this country when it comes to compensation vis-a-vis a graduate because he's got more marketability outside.
Absolutely.
So, that whole culture of investing in research, development-led, having fundamental belief that I can create the next generation product which is better than anybody else in the world. It's about multiple things. I think it is starting, you can't sound very pessimistic about it. I think there are pockets of optimism. You will see a lot of SaaS companies have started, product-based SaaS companies of India. They're doing a great job. I think there are also we don't see too many companies on the enterprise product side, but we had some recent stories which have become very strong where we can use. On consumer tech, which is consumer stacks, which we end up using, that's where I think this country has to start somewhere because they're difficult things you have to face, the Facebooks and Googles of the world. It's not easy.
In fact, there's the other thing, the other culture that of course needs to be underlined is the responsibility aspect of what you do, because social responsibility comes probably as a given to the kind of critical operations that you provide, not just to the government, but as you said, to critical sectors like banking, where someone's hard-earned money is pretty much residing, and we all know how much effort it takes. There was news about the fact that Meta had suppressed research about what going on Facebook does, etc.
Yeah.
The question of responsibility never seems to have come in a negative way for you. You seem to have built it into your work culture, into the things that you put out in the market. It'd be wonderful if you could tell us a little more about the kind of social responsibilities that you also take as far as your products are concerned.
See, one of the things is when you look at software products in typically B2B space enterprise, these are typically very long and complex products, and they end up being built and designed for all possible use cases which are happening in industry across industries. So they're factoring in a lot of things. Then what has happened last 10 years, a lot of standards and regulatory compliances have emerged around the frameworks about risk in terms of, like India, we are certain. So most of our products, almost all will never be released to markets unless they're certain certified. Then there are different audits about, HIPAA, I said PCI, there are SOC 1 compliances, SOC 2. So there is a great, what you call a framework of security, confidentiality emerged already, which you have to be compliant on. You can't just say that I will do them later after I sell. You have to you have to pre-invest on that, and sometimes you learn hard lessons from the market. Then one of the things you have to understand, we sell to large enterprises. Beyond our software, they also have their own norms to make sure that everything is right. They would audit our products, they will check, they will put further layers of security and other systems in that. At the core level, enterprises whom we are servicing have bigger frameworks than what frameworks we provide to make sure that happens. Because it's not like a bank in India would be using at least 5,000 company software. It's not just one. So we are like,
Of course.
we
Absolutely.
we are. So I think that's a important issue, and it's very important that when people are making next generation products, they are sensitive about the impact what the product can have on any very social aspects or even financial aspects. So we try our best, but then there are you have other players also who are trying to always penetrate systems, find weaknesses, exploits, and we always sometimes it's a race who stays ahead of it.
Absolutely.
But the intent has to be clear, and you have to be investment led around it, and I think we end up doing that.
You decided to take the all of the managerial bit and then put it into the creative aspect of creating communication, which is critical to your work environment as well. But creating communication to showcase what you do out there. So what was the thought behind the creative campaign? How did that happen? What was the process there?
I think it is to do with our CMO. So she has I got less of creative mind, so I don't have that much. But I think the idea, as I said, the idea is to typically, it's probably now is the time India is realizing how important Make in India is going to be for the nation, how important it's so it was right time. We thought the story would resonate in terms of understanding that it's important. And hey, there is a story. It is easy. It's not that difficult. We just need to invest and replicate and do more of that. And then also, as I said, it's a simpler way. Sometimes some of these things are funnier way to explain what you do. Otherwise, software businesses are very complex to understand what we do at the end of the day. We always have a joke going on, and I was trying to explain to my Nanaji what I do, and I did a very bad job because he bought I said I was an engineer, and he bought an old Murphy radio and said, fix it. I said, and I could not prove to him that what kind of engineer I am. So we do struggle with explaining what our job is, and I think the fun way of explaining what is the end value we'll deliver, I think, can be a better communication tool.
Absolutely. And finally, it's a very exciting time, and the future holds many possibilities. What does the future hold for next year?
As I said, we have enjoyed this journey, and the question is Dil Mange More. Understand the dialogue. So, and when you say Dil Mange More, it's not. I think the commercial outcomes of businesses are incidental. It's about your bigger belief and what you want to create. We wanted to create great products. We have that ambition, still bright, Brian, and we want to create more and more products about that. And then really go and become one of the dominant players and establish that, hey, India not only is a great services industry, it's a great product industry. That's the vision. So we'll keep on following on that. And we have no expectation that it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
But we like the tough fight. So that's
absolutely. And what's a fight if it isn't tough enough? It makes you tougher.
Yeah.
And in conclusion, of course, since we are living in the world of social media, it's only proper that we ask you to make a little bit of a listicle, 3 points about what next gen, according to you, 3 to 5 points, of course, what next gen, according to you, stands for and what it brings to the vision of a new India.
These are difficult ones. Now you're trying to tap into the creative part. This is a little part of it. I think as our company, I think even the name Newgen, that's almost perpetuity. It always remains new, and there's only time shifts. And we would really, larger start enforcing a belief on innovation and a culture of research and development in this country. And I think beyond that, rest are all outcomes, because as Mr. Diwakar Nigam, our founder, always says that when you do research and development and build products, they're like planting trees. You don't know which branch is going to give you fruit, but you should have fun of planting those trees and growing the forest. And some of the branches will give extremely great fruit, and then that's your dividend. But you have to like the plantation. You don't have to like that. So I would allow that, for the next generation, they understand. Of course, we want all quick benefits. We want quick returns on our investments. There's nothing wrong in that. We have quick commerce, which is one of the phenomena happening in the world. Nobody can deny it. But I think building in fundamental layers which really push boundaries, challenge status quos, is how the real great progress happens. So I would say that that's something we would like to send more emphasis as a message, even help entrepreneurs who are starting in that area journey. And then also build some conviction in larger companies to go and be bold and invest.
And I think asking questions, remembering the inner child that always opened up toys to figure out hota kaise hai.
Hota kaise hai? No, it's like मैं बहुत अच्छा है, I can use WhatsApp. पीछे हो क्या रहा है?
Exactly. So don't stop asking questions. We had many questions, and Mr. Virender Jeet, of course, has been so gracious in giving us all the time with generosity and knowledge and insight. This has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.